I thought you did a splendid job on that piano. He was really sick about playing that piano in the middle of the show.
I have never played piano in front of anybody ever before. I don't play the piano. It's just that I happen to write that song on the piano, and I can't play it on the guitar either, so I don't know what to do about it.
I thought you played the piano better than you juggle.
I'd like another shot at that. I happen to bring these. I can do this on occasion. And
I knew you were.
Oh, well.
Anyhow, you're off. I know you're off to Europe at the weekend, but you're coming back next week because I know you've got a BBC special to record, which they're planning to put out before Christmas.
I'm doing 4 concerts at the Apollo Victoria Theatre in London, and they're going to film those for a BBC special. Yes.
That's it, yes. You know, when I knew I was chatting to you today, I sat for a while and tried to work out in my mind what it is about your music that somehow spans all the generations, that gives us this kind of universal appeal. And the only common denominator I could come up with is that all your songs seem to be affirmations of life. You know, is that a conscious thing, or is it something that sneaks in unwittingly?
It truly is, Bob. Thank you. I do affirm life in all its forms, and I think that comes through in the music, that what the songs are about is not so much the Rocky Mountains as it is about self-discovery. It's not so much about the country roads of West Virginia as it is about people wanting to go back home, you know, and within all of that, there's a real positiveness and optimism and, as you say, an affirmation of life and living.
You write about things that we all cared about, or think we cared about, you know, like the open air, the countryside, human loyalty, love.
Yes, sir, and I think, you know, it's one of the things that binds all of humanity together. Everywhere that I've been in the world, I've found that people feel exactly the same about their children, about each other. They have the same desires, the same frustrations, and these things that are in my songs are applicable to people who've never seen the Rocky Mountains, who've never been to the wheat fields of Kansas. You know, to go to Japan and sing for an audience, half of which does not speak or understand English, and have them sing every song with you word for word, there must be something there that connects for them, and that thrills me.
That must be quite inspiring.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I mean, you've chosen, I know you've lived in many parts of the States, largely because as a youngster your father used to travel around, but you've chosen to live in the Colorado Rockies. I mean, what part of the mountains themselves play in the creative side of your life?
There's something about the mountains, it's like the heavens, you know. They've been there a lot longer than I have, and they're a stabilizing force in my life, and they're something that gives so much to a creativity that has to do so much with all of life, the waters that come, the highways of the mountains that come down and feed the land all over. There's a connection there between the earth and heaven to me, and it's just, the mountains have always been what heals me, what soothes me.
I was interested, you know, listening to the song that you sang earlier on, this very gentle love song, and because you came out in the wake of people like Bob Dylan, Dylan would write love songs which were often quite aggressive and even hostile to women, you know, like It Ain't Me, Babe, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, When You Look Inside Your Mirror, I Won't Be Next to You. Your songs were always gentle love songs, and in a sense, sort of celebration of woman.
Well, perhaps that comes out of what's been going on for women over these last few years, their real renewal of self-awareness and self-determination and wanting to be out there, in part perhaps what's articulated by the equal rights movement, and within that, within my own consciousness raising through my relationship with Annie and my feeling about women, that's how it is for me, and that's the way the songs come out.
I mean, you mentioned your relationship with Annie, your wife. This is a question I would not normally ask. I'd figured it's none of my business, but you've made it my business in a sense because you write about your wife a great deal, not merely Annie's songs. She keeps popping into things like This Old Guitar, you know. We now learn that Annie and you are separated, you're living apart. Now, you've always presented this picture of a man who really had his values worked out, who had it all together, who knew where it was at. I mean, what's gone wrong?
Well, that last song that I did, Seasons of the Heart, is very much about two people falling apart. And that's sort of what happened with Annie and I. I suppose in the time that we've not been together, we've grown in different directions. And to such a degree, there was so much holding us together, I think, through the songs, through people's sense of our relationship, and through our own commitment to one another, that the differences between us got to be a real burden for each other, and we got to be very, very unhappy. And it seems like this is the best step for us to follow our own hearts and to not be a burden to one another, and to see where it goes. And if we're very, very lucky, maybe someday it will grow back together, although it doesn't seem like that right now.
I mean, the irony is, of course, that it was in the days that you were struggling that it was really working, and now that you're at the top of the pile, because everyone, I mean, no one could deny that you're a success. And yet I get the feeling, knowing the things you care about, that you would never yourself define success in financial terms. I mean, supposing I said to you now, define success.
To me, success is doing that thing that you are inclined to do, that comes out of you, the thing that you're able to do, and doing it as well as you possibly can, and in such a way that it's of some value, some benefit to the people, to the life around you. It's sort of like right livelihood, And if you're living in that way and growing yourself as a human being and learning about yourself and your relationship with people, I consider you a success. I consider myself a success on those terms. It has nothing to do with my celebrity or my financial status or anything like that.
Well, John, I consider you a success too, and we're delighted that you're with us today. I'm going to ask you to sing one last song, if you would. This one is called Love.
Perhaps Love.
Perhaps Love. I'm terribly sorry. Would you just like to step across and pick up the guitar? Let me say, incidentally, that we will be back tomorrow at the usual time. In the meantime, let me leave you with John Denver.
Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer. It wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through. Oh, love to some is like a cloud, to some as strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of change. Like a fire when it's cold outside, or thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you.